Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, you are listening to the show that's dedicated to remind you that Beyonce has some of the most fucking annoying songs ever. I am your host, Roger Radio. This is the Roger Radio Show.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the entire man group.
Are you ready? Because I fucking am.
Oh yeah, I got a Voodoo Ranger right here. And
dude, my fucking...
which keeps it nice and cold.
Dude, my beer just fucking skeeted all over. Just made a cum shot on my keyboard. Like, it literally just fucking came on my keyboard, dude. God damn. But anyway, how was your day?
It was a good day.
Yeah, it's the old saying for my favorite song by Ice Cube. Today was a good day. Well, dude, that being said, cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Whoop, whoop. Booyah! Excuse me. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started with today's podcast, our main question of the podcast is, who was the one band, the first ever band that you really got into?
System of a Down.
System of a Down? For me?
Yeah, for me, that's System of a Down.
For me, Nickelback. Now, why did you get into System of a Down originally?
Because my sisters really like System of a Down, and that just kind of rubbed off on me, you know?
Oh, okay. You want to know how I got into Nickelback?
How?
So basically how it goes is on the Spider-Man movie, the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, there was the soundtrack, which is probably one of the best movie soundtracks from my childhood. And there was a song called Hero that included Chad Kroeger, who is the lead singer of Nickelback, and Josie Scott, who is the lead singer of Saliva. And Hero is often considered among my top 10 songs of all time. And I started listening to Nickelback because my dad started getting me into them. And the rest is history. Even with their new music, I still listen to them today. Let me ask you this, dude. Don't I look like I'm ready to just go out with a hockey stick? This here is one of my signature DJing tops. I love it, dude. It's very nostalgic, man. And of course, I'm not officially sponsored, but someday, maybe. But these are like one of my favorite teams.
Not being officially sponsored, Voodoo Rangers.
Hey, I'm not officially sponsored by Clock Cow, but I do give them a lot of business. You know, I don't know about you. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to talk about for this podcast? Well, there was
rock operas.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, dude, basically what happened was we were going to do a podcast talking about the new metal genre, but because G Money is being a fucking cunt right now, we're going to do something different because we can't do it without him. That's the rule.
You know, he'd be kind of pissed if he heard you say that. But the thing is, he doesn't watch this, so he's never going to figure out.
Oh, dude, I could fucking care less. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, instead we decided to talk about a certain concept or a certain theme that became a huge mainstay in music, and that is, of course, rock operas.
So I've come up with a list of my 10 favorite rock operas that I will be talking about over the course of this video.
Let me ask you this. Is the majority of them going to be the fucking Deer Hunter?
I just classified the Deer Hunter as one concept album just because of all the shit that they put out.
Yeah. Well,
when I say shit, I don't mean as bad. I mean, they just about every album that the Deer Hunter releases is part of like one or two concepts. They started with the Axe, and now they're doing the Indigo Child series.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's going to be one more act. I'll talk about that later, though.
Yeah, first off, I know all of you are asking, what is a rock opera? Well, there is a variation of how it goes. It's kind of like a concept album, but the difference between a concept album and a rock opera is A concept album talks about different subjects that are under one topic or however it is, while a rock opera focuses on one whole story.
See, I would technically classify rock operas as like a type of concept album, as in like all rock operas are concept albums, but not all concept albums are rock operas. That's how I'd put it.
That's actually a beautiful meaning right there, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's a whole lot of rock operas that have been made. Like I looked it up, there is a shit ton of rock opera albums, and we will get into like some of the more signature ones that are even considered among the greatest of all time. Basically, here's the origin story of how it came out. So we can date it back to December 1966, and it is of course by none other than the British rock band The Who. Basically, it's mainly because in their sophomore album, A Quick One, they had a song that is called A Quick One While He's Away. And while they say it's a rock opera, but I consider it like a mini opera. And it was, because it was like a suite of songs, you know, like with
Yeah.
TRRS. And it's a 9-minute track. And basically, it tells a story inside the song, which will, and this is the song that's credited for creating the rock operas. And then, come a couple years later, in 1969, we have The Who's the fourth album, Tommy. And it is considered by many as the first official rock opera. So basically, the album in question, I almost said song, by the way. The album in question tells the story of a deaf, dumb, and blind kid named Tommy Walker, who eventually ends up becoming like a religious cult leader. And then they pretty much tell the whole story in the form of song. And I've watched the movie, I've listened to the album, it's really good, and it was very revolutionary, as I would
Yeah.
say, because it was like the around the 60s and early 70s, at least like 70, 71. This was during a time where we were starting to hear more of like stuff that's coming out, like for example, heavy metal was coming out, hard rock was coming out, progressive rock was coming out at that time too. It was starting to be created. And so there was a whole lot of things that a lot of these British acts were doing that none of us here in America ever heard. Like, what the fuck is this?
Hmm.
You know? But have you ever listened to Tommy?
I have not, actually.
You'll have to check it out. I know the throughout the whole album, to help the songs tie in together, no, you can hear Pete Townsend say, "See me, feel me, touch me, hear me." And you hear it on like certain songs, like as the album progresses. That way you can tell that the story really ties together and it really works out. There was I can't remember. There might have been maybe a couple times like where they ended up putting like the songs together. Like you hear one song go to the next, but it
Yeah, to
didn't
like
like.
smoothly transition.
Yep, it just it transitions to the next one. Um. So, is there anything that you want to say about one rock opera in particular by your main guy David Bowie?
Are you talking about Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars?
Yep.
Oh, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. This is one of two actually rock operas that Dave Bowie ended up producing in his lifetime.
Yeah.
He did this one, which is Ziggy Stardust, which most of you have probably heard of. And then there's also another one called One Outside, which is also really good. I'll describe them both here, but Ziggy Stardust is I'm reading off the Wikipedia page here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing
Described
too.
Yeah, it makes it easier on us just to read it off Wikipedia pages.
Like,
Anyway,
yeah.
it's described as a loose concept album and rock opera. It focuses on Bowie's titular alter ego Ziggy Stardust, a fictional androgynous and bisexual rock star who is sent to Earth as a savior before an impending apocalyptic disaster. In the story, Ziggy wins the hearts of fans but suffers a fall from grace after succumbing to his own ego. The character was influenced by a number of musicians, including Vince Taylor. Most of the album's concept was developed after the songs were recorded. The glam rock and proto-punk musical styles were, yeah, so on and so on. The
Yeah.
lyrics explore the artificiality of rock music, political issues, drug use, sexuality, and stardom. The album cover, photographed in monochrome and recolored, was taken in London outside the homes of furries, K West, which has nothing to do with Kanye West. No,
Yeah, I know you're
no,
talking about that
you look
fucking
you
Nazi.
see the
Yeah.
yeah, no, you look at the album cover and he's like under this sign says like K West. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I was gonna say I know that the album cover they did for Tommy, they still could not decide on how it goes, and then they ended up doing like some weird ass prism kind of whatever the fuck it is here. But yeah, let me ask you this: what does that word androgynous mean?
Androgynous, from the best of my knowledge, it means like the is like a mix of both genders. Like he doesn't look
Oh,
explicitly male, he doesn't look like explicitly female. He's kind of like,
that's
you
kind of
know,
like that's kind of what a hermaphrodite is. That's what a hermaphrodite is, both male and female. They have both male and female genitalia.
yeah.
But yeah, I know that from what I've seen, this Rolling Stone has their 500 greatest albums of all time, and they rank this one as like his highest. Do you agree with that?
No. Honestly, his later works are his best works, and they are very, very criminally underrated. But I'll be talking about that on my channel sometime on a biopic I'm going to do on David Bowie someday.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
the main reason they consider this like his most ranked album is because like it
it's
was
his most popular one.
yeah, well, not only that, but it was like one of the earlier rock operas, and it was kind of
Yeah, and
revolutionary. But in my honest opinion, dude, he could have did at least 20 some songs with this album. He only made 11, dude. He
yeah,
could have did way more with this album, in my honest opinion.
yeah. His other rock opera was called Outside, or is stylized as One Outside, like the number one outside. Because he was gonna like do a series of rock operas, but he never really got around to it in his lifetime. So there's just this one
Yeah,
rock opera called One Outside. Uh, the nonlinear narrative of Outside concerns the residents of the fictional Oxford town, New Jersey, and follows the detective Nathan Adler as he investigates the murder of a 14-year-old girl.
that sounds like a really good story right there. It almost
It
reminds me of
is.
one of those. It almost reminds me of the Dirty Harry movies. I don't know why. Like, I get that feeling. Like, have you ever watched the Dirty Harry movies?
I've not actually.
Yeah, dude, fucking Clint Eastwood, dude, the one and only, the GOAT himself is in those. So, okay, so continuing on with the Who, they had their album that came out called Who's Next, which came out in 71, which is considered their magnum opus. Like Tommy was what got them into the mainstream really big, but it was Who's Next that created. But I don't think a whole lot of people know about this. But this album actually came out of the ashes of a abandoned rock opera that they were gonna release called Lifehouse.
Tell
So
us more.
okay, so basically, how according to the Wikipedia page that I'm looking at, the Lifehouse concept was supposed to be in the world in which the album is set. Pollution is so bad that the populace are forced to wear life suits, suits that could simulate all experiences in a way that no one would have to leave home. You know, like for example, going out for a walk, going out to meet with friends, that would be simulated in your head. The suits are plugged into a huge mainframe called the Grid, which also contains tubes for sleeping gas, food, and entertainment. Supposedly, someone could live out tens of thousands of lifetimes in a very short period within the Grid. The Grid is controlled by a man simply known as Jumbo. And the story begins with a farming
Jumbo.
family. Yeah, that's his
My
real
name
name.
is Jumbo.
That's the character's real name.
Yo, dog, my name Jumbo.
Yeah. So how it goes is that the story begins with a farming family in Scotland. They hear of a huge rock concert called Lifehouse occurring in London, a sort of post-apocalyptic Woodstock. Now the story is that this is also during a time where rock and roll is forbidden. It's banned. So it's kind of like a
Oh,
rebellious thing. Their
that
daughter,
reminds me of a Zappa album I'll talk about later too.
yeah, their daughter, named Mary, runs away to join the concert. They don't wear life suits because they are supposedly out of the pollution's range and they farm the crops that the government buys to feed the life suiters. Bobby is the creator of the Lifehouse concert. Bobby was also the tentative name of the project for a time. He is a hacker who broadcasts pirate radio signals advertising his
Signers.
concert, where the participants' personal data are taken from them and converted into music, quite literally finding your song. At the climax of the album, the authorities have surrounded the Lifehouse.
Climax.
Yeah. Then the perfect note rings forth through the combination of everybody's songs. They storm the place to find everybody has disappeared through a sort of musical rapture, and the people observing the concert through their life suits have vanished as well.
Hmm.
So basically, during the production of it, they had a falling out with, I think, the producer of the album at the time. And Pete Townsend, the problem was that his songwriting was so complex that the other guys like Roger Daltrey, Keith Moon, and John Entwistle could not understand it. And this led to him having a nervous breakdown, so he just scrapped the whole thing. The album was supposed to intend to have 16 songs that are simply titled as Side 1, Ray's Story, Side 2, Mary slash Jumbo's Story, Side 3, Bobby's Story, and Side 4, The Lifehouse Concert. And where that climax at the end came was the song Won't Get Fooled Again. Now, they took 8 of these tracks and they ended up creating Who's Next. The songs that were on the Lifehouse project were Baba O'Reilly, Bargain, Love Ain't for Keeping, The Song Is Over, Getting in Tune, Going Mobile, Behind Blue Eyes, and Won't Get Fooled Again. And the only song that was not a Lifehouse song was My Wife, which was written by John Entwistle. I think it was a kind of a love song for his wife at the time, if I remember correctly. But while Who's Next ended up becoming their magnum opus, in my opinion, and considered one of the greatest of all time, it always makes me wonder, how do you think Lifehouse would have came out?
I got a question for you.
Yeah,
What would you say is your favorite rock opera?
I'll get into that later.
Do you want to hear about mine?
Sure.
It is called Snow by Spock's Beard. It is nearly 2 hours long. And
Tell me
just,
about it.
all right, all right. It tells about Snow. He's a young albino man named John, but he's nicknamed Snow because he's albino.
Okay.
And he possesses extraordinary spiritual and prophetic abilities and like healing abilities and stuff like that.
Okay.
He grows up as an outcast, but eventually embarks on a journey of self-discovery, gaining a following due to his wisdom and charisma. However, as he becomes more famous and influential, he struggles with the corrupting nature of power, as well as betrayal and personal crises. If you haven't listened to Snow, it's actually really good.
Okay. Yeah,
If
so
you ask
basically,
me,
yeah.
if you ask me, it is Spock Spirit's best album. It's really good.
No, I do like the fact that they did do what the Who did with Tommy and use the character's name for the album name, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to continue on with the story of the Who, they did eventually release their rock opera follow-up called Quadrophenia in 1973. Now the story goes that the narrative centers on a young working class mod named Jimmy. Mod was the word is the term for the word modernist. Like it's like one of them, you know, those greasers that came out in the 50s. That's what they were called. Is a mod. He
Okay.
likes drugs, beach fights, and romance, which kind of well, the beach fights I would change it to bar fights and romance. I do. You know me, I'm a celebrity, so you know I get all of them.
Hmm.
And he becomes a fan of The Who after a concert in Brighton, but is disillusioned by his parents' attitude towards him, dead end jobs, and an unsuccessful trip to see a psychiatrist. He clashes with his parents over his use of amphetamines, which was the main drug of choice for rock stars back then, and has difficulty finding regular work and doubts his own self worth. Quitting a job as a dustman after only 2 days, though he is happy to be one of the mods, he struggles to keep up with his peers, and his girlfriend leaves him for his best friend. What the fuck happened to your hands?
I cut him off. I got tired of him.
I see your
I'm
hands
sick of
right
having
in.
hands.
I see your hands in your sleeve, dude.
I know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. I don't have any hands anymore. I cut him
Tilted,
off.
tilt them forward. Tilt your hands forward or your arms forward. Yeah, I see your knuckles. So, all right. So, continuing on with the Quadrophenia story, after destroying his scooter and contemplating suicide, he decides to take a train to Brighton, where he had enjoyed earlier experiences with his fellow mods. However, he discovers the Ace Face, who led the gang, now has a menial job as a bellboy in a hotel. He feels everything in his life has rejected him, steals a boat, and uses it to sail out to a rock overlooking the sea. On the rock and stuck in the rain, he contemplates his life. The ending is left ambiguous as to what happens to Jimmy. Dude, you know what that reminds me of? The ending for
What?
Dream Theater's rock opera.
Metropolis 2?
Yep. Let me see if I can pull that up quick. Um, where are you? Where are you? There it is. Yeah, but I know that for Metropolis, theirs was left ambiguous from the stories I heard. So, so Aegis, obviously you and I, we have listened to a couple of their songs, but we haven't listened to the whole entire album yet, right?
I have actually listened to the entire album of Metropolis 2, actually.
Can you explain a bit for us, please? Because I've only heard a few of the songs, but I haven't listened to the whole entire thing. But I know that the ending was left ambiguous.
So I honestly I didn't I was listening to it at work, so I wasn't really paying full attention to it. I can't remember what it's all about, but I can look that up quick. But one part that really got to me is like, so my real name, don't go around shouting this out. My real name is Nick. And there's this part in the video in the song where like toward the end it says, "Open your eyes, Nicholas." And I was like,
Yeah,
scared the
I've
shit out of me.
yeah, I know that the from the story that I'm looking at here, and I'm just looking at the synopsis for Act One because there are two acts and they are in the whole album. It opens with the character named Nicholas. He is a troubled man who's undergoing past life regression therapy. In a hypnotic trance induced by his hypnotherapist, he begins to see a girl named Victoria Page. Her full name is in the CD booklet and was shown during the 2019 tour. And then they start telling like the stories about this, like who is this Victoria? You know, but if you ask me, dude, like the album cover for it, dude, do you know the video game Soma?
I didn't I do not.
Yeah, it's a some reason their album cover for it almost reminds me of the video game Soma. But I know it has nothing to do with it. But from obviously from looking at the story itself here, it looks like they would have made a great movie with that.
Yeah.
So let me see here. All right, he begins to see a girl named Victoria Page. All right, so when the album was performed, hang on a second. When the album was performed in its entirety and experiences a life that feels strangely in a past life, which would be strange deja vu, Nicholas starts to believe that Victoria is haunting him to reveal the truth about her murder. Through my words, he recalls that Victoria distanced herself from her lover named Julian Baines. His last name is given in the 2019 tour video and is also in the CD insert. Due to his drinking and gambling addictions, she sought comfort in Julian's brother, Edward Baines, and began having an affair with him. Nicholas assumes that Julian, out of jealousy, murdered her and then killed himself, a story supported by a newspaper article covering the events, which cites a witness's testimony. However, Nicholas begins to doubt this version of events and converses with an older man who was more familiar with the case. An animated video shown during Fatal Tragedy on the 2019 tour strongly suggests that he is a reincarnated Julian. Nicholas realizes that he will never be able to move on with his own life until he solves her murder, Fatal Tragedy, Beyond This Life, through her eyes. And that is Act 1. What do you think when it comes to that stuff? Do you believe in that kind of stuff?
Personally, I don't. But then again, I'm the guy who, when I was a kid, I went into the kitchen. It was dark out, all right? It was toward night. I went into the kitchen and I saw this hand reaching out to the ground, and I was like, "Ooh, it's scary." And
Yeah.
so as a kid, I believed in the supernatural, but like, I don't know, I just don't believe in that stuff anymore.
Yeah, my
Even
my
though I fucking witnessed an incident like that, I just still don't believe in that shit. I don't know what the
my
fuck it is.
yeah, my sister Brandy, she is a very huge paranormal enthusiast. And for me, I started believing in reincarnation because when I was at a funeral for a friend's aunt a few years ago, they told me the story of like about a minute after she passed away, they ended up hearing one of them announcement jingles over the PA announcing the birth of a baby.
See, when it comes to metaphysical beliefs like that, I'm a subscriber to Catholicism in particular. That's me anyway.
Yeah,
Or if you don't believe in the same thing as I do, unlike a lot of people, I do respect your beliefs,
yeah.
and I'm not
But
gonna be all preachy and shit.
when I was talking to my friend's mom, who was her younger sister, she ended up pretty much giving me the interpretation of well, from my perspective, it's basically like the soul leaves one body, goes into another, and the soul cannot leave the earth or go into heaven until the soul realizes its true meaning here. That was and I tell you, man, that part really got me, man. Like, who knows? Maybe I might have been born into new bodies like God knows how many times and I just don't realize it. It's like like when you do a factory reset on something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like every time if I was going into a new body or whatever, you know.
All right.
So,
So I've been sitting on this. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead.
Do you want to hear about Frank Zappa's rock opera?
Oh yeah, can I read Act 2 quick?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
No, you're fine, man. So, Act 2 of Metropolis Part 2. I don't even know how the word Metropolis has anything to do with this story at this point.
I really don't fucking know either, dude.
Maybe one of these days we should hit up Dream Theater and ask him why the name. The part like
Yo, Dream Theater. Why the fuck did you call this Metropolis?
yeah. If I had to like call it anything, I would call it repressed life or whatever. So, the second act opens by describing Julian's addictions to cocaine and gambling, which drives Victoria away from him. Edward feels guilty about deceiving his brother, but decides that his love for Victoria is stronger than his guilt, and he seduces her when she is vulnerable following her breakup, which would be the songs Home and The Dance of Eternity. After visiting Edward's old house, her and Edward then positioned himself as the witness in the newspaper article. One last time, Nicholas comes to terms with what happened and bids farewell to Victoria. The hypnotherapist ends the session at this point. Despite pleas from Victoria's memories, the spirit carries on. The narrative then shifts to Edward's perspective, revealing that he wished his romance with Victoria was more than a simple affair. As Victoria begins to reconcile with Julian, Edward confronts the two of them, murders them, then stages the scene and assumes the role of the witness for the newspaper column. The flashback includes Edward telling Victoria to open her eyes before killing her, echoing the same words the hypnotherapist used to wake Nicholas from his hypnotic trance, finally freed. In the present, Nicholas arrives home, followed by the hypnotherapist. Nicholas is startled by another request to open his eyes before the album cuts to and concludes with a phonographic static. The band confirmed that on the Metropolis 2000 live DVD that the hypnotherapist is Edward's reincarnation and has killed Nicholas to complete the cycle once again. The static closes the album, continues at the beginning of The Glass Prison, the first song on their next album, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence in 2002, and this pattern persists through the subsequent albums until Octavarium in 2005, with the same concept but different closing notes.
All right, so do you want to hear about Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa then?
Jesus fucking Christ. The most offensive ass shit ever, dude.
Yeah, he's literally in blackface on the album cover.
I thought he just, I thought somebody had poured like used motor oil on his face. Do you think that could have been it?
No, that's blackface. Like the lead singer on the album was black, so he painted his face black for the album cover. He's holding a mop.
Was the whole album in its entirety banned in like how many countries?
If it was, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, go ahead and read off the whole entire thing, man.
All right, the story. I'm reading off Wikipedia again, of course.
Yeah, everything's gonna be on Wikipedia, people. Just to let you know. But we will pull up some other. I will pull up some other bookmarks that I made, so that way we can look at some other stuff too as we progress. But we are right now looking at some of the key rock operas that we know, especially primarily.
Yeah, the story is told narrating the story. Oh, the story is told by a character identified as the Central Scrutinizer, narrating the story of Joe, an average. 1 second. There we go. Or I accidentally started fucking music on my end.
Dude, don't play any on my fucking podcast. You trying to get me shut down?
All right, so Joe's an average adolescent male from Canoga Park, Los Angeles, who forms a garage rock band, has unsatisfying relationships with women, gives all his money to a government-assisted and insincere religion, explores sexual activities with appliances, and is imprisoned. After being released from prison into a dystopian society in which music itself has been criminalized, he lapses into insanity.
Did you just say he was fucking his appliances?
Yeah, basically, yeah. is exactly what it sounds like.
How the hell does that work?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Hang on, let me ask you this.
To listen to
when he was fucking the sink, do you think he accidentally hit the garbage disposal button?
No, so basically it's about this guy, Joe. He starts a garage rock band and as music is slowly being like outlawed by the government.
Oh yeah. I don't know what I just thought. I don't know why I just thought of this. Hang on a minute. You go ahead and keep going, dude. I just needed to look at something quick.
That's just about all I got to say about Joe's Garage. Is released in like 3 acts, I think.
Yeah, dude. Some reason with the name Joe's Garage, I keep thinking of the a dodgeball movie because they have a fucking gym called Joe's Gym.
Yeah. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. It's a
We
good
might
movie.
have to do a review on that.
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, be sure to go check out the Interrobang group channel. We just we are doing movie reviews there, and we're gonna do a whole lot more. And we're also doing a series called Beer and Wings, so be sure to check that out as well. First
I
episode will
just
be coming
started a movie
soon.
today that we're gonna end up having a video on because it's my God, I started this movie. I'm not gonna say what it is, but oh my God.
Let
I
me
just
ask you:
started it
Is
today
this
and
a
it's
movie?
really
Is
good.
this a movie where I'm gonna need to get high on?
No,
Okay.
it's really fucking,
I
oh my
just love
God.
how
You,
you
you just
said
have to
no.
watch it.
I just love how you just flat out said no. I was like, okay. I'll tell you one thing. I was, fuck. I gotta find where it is. Oh yeah.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go take a piss. I will be right back.
You know what? I was gonna say. You know what? Let's take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show that's dedicated to remind you that it's okay to have some kitties. Come on, say something into the mic. Come on, say something. Come on, say hi to the camera. This is my little chicken nugget Cleo right here. She's a little cutie. She's
He
wondering
eats
where
his
I am
cat's
right
poop.
now. All right,
He
baby,
eats
I'll
his
let you go
cat's
back
poop.
home.
Yeah, go let him make some more poop for you to eat. He's never even gonna
She has a
fucking hear this,
lot of
dude.
fucking hair on her, I'll tell you that, bro. Oh yeah, I'm gonna quickly text you something, dude. I want you to open it literally as soon as you get it. All right, I sent it to you. What is it? What did I send you?
Civil.
No, show the
It's a
camera.
Beavis and Butthead. It's a
Show it.
Beavis and Butthead meme. Is fucking backwards because that's on my camera. It says Captain
Oh
a
no, it's
berry
actually
butt.
fine, man.
Civil
It actually
score.
looks fine.
Oh, it
Civil
shows it regular
score.
on your side.
Yeah, it looks fine, dude. It'll come out fine. But dude, civil
Okay,
score. Anyway, how's old Bernie doing over there right now?
you could use a drink.
Yeah, I think I could too, man. Cheers, you old bastard. You old wrinkly fuck.
Who will unfortunately probably never become president of the United States.
Never say never, dude. You don't know that. Dude,
Yeah, he could be the oldest president in the history of the United States.
how old is he right now?
And I'd be cool with that.
How old
Old.
is he?
Let me look that up.
Yeah. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're just taking a quick brief break. We're just doing a bunch of bullshit right now.
He is 83. Holy shit.
Dude,
83.
dude, Willie Nelson's like in his fucking mid 90s, dude, and he's still going strong, dude. So you never say never. All right, so we last album we were talking about for rock operas is we were talking about Joe's Garage, which Aegis here says is one of the most offensive ass shit. It came out in 1979, but hey, guess which album also came out in 1979, my man? About 2 months later,
What
The
album?
Wall.
Oh shit.
The Wall, man, the motherfucking Wall. I'm trying to find where it's at, dude. God. Okay, there it is. So, obviously, we know what the Wall is.
What's the
Give,
wall? I've
give
never
me a
heard of it.
moment.
What's the wall?
Ah, fuck! I just hit my mic. Fucking bitch. Now, we all know that the Dark Side of the Moon is considered Pink Floyd's magnum opus, but for The Wall, though, The Wall is Roger Waters' magnum opus. And now that with me being a radio celebrity that I am, dude, I actually do understand it, dude. And you know what? When it comes to my personal life, dude, it does feel sometimes there are moments where I do want to like build a wall around myself. Just get away from it. Just walk away from the celebrity life. That kind of thing. And that is, of course, what the main character named Pink is. Um,
Wait, the guy's name's Pink, and the album is named, and the fucking band is named Pink Floyd. What the fuck?
yeah. Well, I don't know where that. I honestly don't know who came up with that name, in my opinion, but basically, The Wall is a pretty good name to use, honestly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, basically, the album is like about how it happened or how this album came out. It would not have happened if Roger Waters did not spit on that fucking fan. Well, here's the thing though. In 1977, they were promoting their Animals album, and they called it In the Flesh. And it was supposed to include like songs that are from the Animals album and the Wish You Were Here album, because they did between the Dark Side of the Moon tour and their 77 tour, they did not tour at all. And that tour was marred with so much issues, technical issues and personal issues. Roger Waters, on the last show in Montreal in July of 77, I think it was July 6th, if I remember correctly, he got so fed up, dude. Like he just fucking snapped on everyone because they kept firing off fireworks, and this was during the 4th of July. And he just finally said, "Stop setting off them motherfucking fireworks." And then he apparently saw a fan trying to grab for one of Nick Mason's drumsticks, and he just spat on him. And he
Damn.
even said in a interview, "I left literally wanting to build a wall." And that's how it all began. Then he recorded the demo for it, and he recorded another demo for what would become his solo debut album, The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. They went with the Wall album. Thank God for that, because I don't think Pros and Cons would not did good, because I didn't think it was good when I heard it. But yeah, they were dealing with so much financial issues. They hired this firm called Morton Warburg, I think, to help with their royalties and avoid trying to pay a lot of taxes. But they ended up finding that everyone was messing with the books. So they were
Really?
falsifying everything. And they shut down, and Pink Floyd was left owing like about 12 to 13 million pounds in back taxes. Not dollars, pounds. That's the term they used in the UK. And pretty much the royal family and the UK Parliament just told the band, if you guys want to avoid legally paying your taxes right now until you can get money, leave the country. They had to leave for a whole year and work on it. That would give them time to work on the wall. They went to, I can't remember what the name of the recording studio was, but that was where David Gilmour and Richard Wright recorded their solo debuts. And there was a lot of problems going on at that time personally, because Roger Waters became a controlling person. Like his ego got way more worse at that time, but he was the one who was trying to be like, we got to get this shit done. We got to perfect it. He was the only one who was trying to put in a lot of work in his defense. Richard Wright was going through a lot of personal issues, was not contributing enough, and Waters just kicked him out. And they, of course, did manage to create this wonderful masterpiece. So,
Want to hear a concept? Want to hear a rock opera you've probably never listened to before?
what?
It's called "The Hazards of Love" by the Decemberists. The
Listen,
Decemberists actually had. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna read a bit of the plot here, so but
Oh yeah,
basically,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
but yeah, the album opens with Pink, who is a rock star, addressing the crowd of fans at one of his concerts, to whom he is about to give an apparently unexpected performance of his life story, which would be in the flesh. A flashback on his life up to that point begins, in which it is revealed that his father was killed during World War II, leaving Pink's mother to raise him alone. This is actually kind of a real life story for Roger Waters because he was 3 months old when his father was killed at the Battle of Anzio in World War II. So you can tell that some of this is relating to Roger Waters' life story too, which is why it's so great. Basically, the character Pink is based off of two different people, Roger Waters and their original lead singer, Syd Barrett. So, beginning with the death of his father, Pink starts to build a metaphorical wall around himself, which is another brick in the wall, part one. Growing older, Pink is tormented at school by tyrannical. It's tyrannical.
Tyrannical.
Thank you. Tyrannical, abusive teachers. The happiest days of our lives, and memories of these traumas become metaphorical bricks in the wall, or known as probably which is their biggest hit off this album, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Now as an adult, Pink remembers his domineering, overprotective mother and his upbringing during the Blitz in the song Goodbye Blue Sky, which is my most favorite song of that album, by the way. Pink soon marries, and after more bricks are created through more traumas, he is preparing to complete his wall, Empty Spaces. While touring the United States, he seeks casual sex to relieve the tedium of touring.
Hey, that's you.
Yeah, don't even remind me, dude. It's already bad enough. I can't help it if I look this good. I mean, look at me, dude. Just look at me, dude. Every rock star should be pretty like me. Imagine being famous and fucking ugly, man. My man
That's
Liam
gonna
Gallagher.
be me. That's gonna be me.
My man Liam Gallagher even said it best, dude. Imagine being famous and fucking ugly at the same time. You know what I mean? Okay, so
It's gonna be me.
yeah. Though in making a phone call home, he learns of his wife's infidelity, young lust. He brings a groupie back to his hotel room, only to trash it in a violent fit of rage, terrifying her out of the room. Or he was trying to, like, quote unquote, shake things up, you know, try to bring some emotion out. Because obviously, from what I'm seeing, he was building it in so much that you just start melting down. And I've had many experiences where I just hold it in too long. And god damn it, dude, it's very fucking ugly. Depressed, Pink thinks about his wife and fantasizes about committing violence against her. Don't Leave Me Now kind of reminds me of whenever Eminem was rapping about his mother in the Marshall Mathers LP. So, and that is the song Don't Leave Me Now. Feeling trapped, he dismisses the impact his past has had on him while rejecting human contact and medication. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 3. Pink's wall is now finished, completely isolating himself from the outside world. Goodbye, cruel world. Aegis, let me ask you this. You know the band Korn, right?
Yes, I'm familiar with Korn.
Did you ever
It's a
hear
new metal group.
Did you ever hear their rendition of Another Brick in the Wall?
I've not.
As soon as we are done recording here, you get your ass right fucking down here. And I'm gonna show you what real music is, people. Okay, so Goodbye Cruel World concludes the first half of the magical album. Immediately after the wall's completion, Pink questions his decisions in the song Hey You and locks himself in his hotel room. Is there anybody out there? As his depression worsens, Pink turns to his possessions for comfort. Nobody home. I don't know why my dad really fucking loved that song, Nobody Home, but the song Nobody Home reminded me of No Surprises from Radiohead's OK Computer, which we covered.
Yeah.
And I've told you that. right?
Hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. I was fucking drunk, so. But yeah, I don't know why, dude. I kept comparing the songs to one another. That's what I think why I keep comparing the OK Computer to the Wall, even though everyone says OK Computer compares to Dark Side of the Moon. It is what it is, you know.
That
But
makes,
that's
yeah.
what like everyone has their opinions. I just think OK Computer is more compared to the Wall, mainly not because of the concepts, but mainly because of the sinister sound of the music.
Yeah, see, when it comes to the concepts, I would agree that Dark Side of the Moon and OK Computer are more similar.
Yes.
But you do make a fair point that the wall has a darker theme to it that is mirrored in OK Computer.
Yeah. Heck, even then, dude, like OK Computer, dude, they did not take any. Like when we were reviewing it, they did not take any of the overall sounds from the Wall, though. Is what the funny thing is. And from what I've heard, Tom York surely was a huge Pink Floyd fan. He had to be. Okay, so continuing on, at the conclusion of Nobody Home, he yearns for the idea of reconnecting with his personal roots in the song Vera, which Roger Waters said is probably his most favorite song that he made on there. Pink's mind flashes back to World War II with the people demanding that their soldiers return home, bring the boys back home, which in my retrospect almost reminds me of, you know, when we went to Iraq in 2003 and there were so many people saying, bring him home, bring him home. And it's the same with the Vietnam War. Bring him home, bring him home.
Yeah, both were very unnecessary wars.
Yes. And we did. Oh, wait. Vietnam, we did. There was no reason behind it. They were trying to quote unquote stop communism, but communism
Yep.
kept kicking our fucking asses. But then in Iraq, we did manage to take down a man who committed so many crimes against humanity, dude. And right afterwards, dude, we should have fucking left afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
It's the same with the Afghanistan war, dude. Dude, like, we went there to get Osama bin Laden. We got him, but we stayed there for 10 more years. There was no point staying there right after we killed bin Laden, So, to continue on, ladies and gentlemen, returning to the present, Pink's manager and the roadies break into his hotel room where they find him unresponsive, probably being from
The drugs.
yeah, like it over like he's just passed out from the drugs. Like it's kind of like with me with my fucking THC gummies while watching Django Unchained, you know? My fucking corner of my TV was there. And I can't remember. Was it just me that was like out or were you okay?
It was you. It was you. It was entirely you.
God damn. I think that was the same with fucking Everything Everywhere All at Once and Tenacious D, so. So, to continue on, they bring in a paramedic to inject him with drugs to enable him to perform at a concert later that night, which would be Comfortably Numb, which is my second favorite song of it. The drugs kick in, resulting in a hallucinatory onstage performance for The Show Must Go On, where he believes that if he is a fascist dictator, like Adolf Hitler, and his concert became a neo Nazi rally, at which he sets brown shirt like men on fans that he considers unworthy, which is the song In the Flesh, which, let me put it to you this way. I love the music they sound in it, but if I ever played this song on my radio show, dude, you would never hear me on radio or on air ever again. It is that extremely offensive. You know, and ladies and gentlemen, I am very sorry in advance. I'm just reading off what the lyrics said. Are there any Q words in the theater tonight? Put him up against the wall. That one in the spotlight. He don't look right to me. Get him up against the wall. That one looks Jewish. That one's whatever. Who let all this riff-raff in here? There's one smoking a joint. If I had my way, I would have all of you shot.
That's kind of fucked up, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That really did not age well at all.
Yeah, and it did not age well mainly because Roger Waters has been deemed as an anti-Semite. Although he's not the
Fairly,
different.
fairly.
Yeah, the only difference is like he supports Palestine, but the difference is he's not calling for hate on the Jewish people like Kanye West is.
Hmm.
That's the truth. I've seen him in interviews where he is supporting Palestine. There was an interview that he did on CNN a while back, and he just trashed the living hell out of the guy who was interviewing him. Just give me a quick moment. Ugh. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, rock operas are fucking awesome, man.
They are.
Let me ask you this quickly while I'm doing this. I understand that you've been kind of working on one yourself.
Yes, I am.
Well, we don't have to get into what the theme's going to be until it's all finalized. But I know that I've been wanting to work on one myself lately. The story would be, I take the themes of like, space and all that, because
Space. Yeah.
I've always been a huge fan of space, and I've always advocated for NASA. And getting to go to Cape Canaveral when I was in Florida, dude, was such an amazing experience. I was so glad that I went.
Did you
Oh,
hear that Elon Musk abolished NASA?
dude, there's no, dude, he's just trying to fucking ruin everything, dude.
Luckily, he will be stepping out of the White House.
Good, dude, because he's been poisoning it too fucking much, dude. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, he's from South Africa. He grew up during the apartheid system, dude. So what makes you think he ain't a racist or, hates other people? Dude, he even gave a fucking Nazi salute, for God's sakes.
Yep, yep. He straight up did Nazi salute. If you are claiming that was anything else, there's something fucking wrong with you, dude.
Dude, dude, wouldn't it be like just a coincidence if he played the fucking In the Flesh song? Okay, so let me just tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. So for the that neo-Nazi rally that's in the wall, they did not use like actual Nazi swastikas. They ended up making a logo that had like two different hammers, and instead of doing the Nazi salute, they did this. You see what I'm doing right here? Or like
Yeah.
this. It's supposed to resemble like the two hammers crossing like this. They use like the same color scheme that the fucking swastika is supposed to have, dude, but still, dude. But yeah, like you said, from what you've heard, dude, it did not fucking age well at all. Remember, this is 1979. This is 2025 we're in. Anyways, right after the song or that rally concludes, he has his army proceed to attack minorities in the song Run Like Hell. It culminates in him imagining holding a violence inciting rally in suburban London, waiting for the worms. Pink's hallucinations then cease, like he sobers up. Don't pick his fucking nose. He could have COVID, dude. You seen the mask? Anyways, his hallucinations cease and he sobers up and he begs for everything to just simply stop. Or it would just be, for the song, stop. Tormented with guilt and with everything going on in his life, he decides to put himself on a trial before his inner judge, who orders him to tear down the wall as punishment for his actions. The trial. Tearing down the wall would be like, you know what? I have to accept how everything is. Just be human. And then this is the opening of Pink getting outside the wall or outside the wall. The funny thing is that the album is like a full circle thing you have to keep listening to, like it loops. Mainly reason
like James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake.
Yes. The main reason I say that is because the song Outside the Wall, the album closed out where Roger Waters said, "Isn't this where?" Then just cuts. And then you hear the first words of the phrase that begins the album, or the first words at the beginning of In the Flesh, the first In the Flesh at the beginning, you can actually hear him say, "We came in," and it now makes perfect sense. It's a never endless loop that you're in. We are stuck to just continue the same exact thing. So, with the continuation of the melody of the last song hitting at the whatever.
Cyclical.
Yes, nature of Waters' theme, and that the existential crisis at the heart of the album will never truly end. Now, it's almost like a cool thing. I want to incorporate that in my rock opera that I'm making. It would kind of be like that never ending loop thing, but it would. I
Yeah.
don't really want to get into full details because I'm still trying to flesh out the song myself. Even though I'm confused, they're like, what the fuck's going on, kind of thing, you know? But, ladies and gentlemen, this album, I really didn't understand much of it, you know, growing up. Now I have a much more greater appreciation of it. They even made a movie of it, and I want to do a
They made a
movie.
movie of The Wall?
Yeah, and you know what? We will do it right here on this channel. But
Yeah.
like I'll tell you, man, like I actually have a full understanding of it. It still speaks to many generations. Even now, the album is like it's 45 years old, and it still is relatable today. I grew a much more deeper appreciation of it because of me and my position. And when I ended up going on my hiatus from the radio station, dude, it just kicked in for the wall. I literally just want to build a wall around me, just get away from it.
Yeah.
You know, like there'll be occasions where you just want to walk away from it. But at the same time, I don't want to because I still have an obligation to my community. And by God, I still do plan on staying committed to my community. And that's why I think this album is so perfect. Roger Waters created a masterpiece. This is considered his magnum opus, his greatest work he ever made. Even some many years later, dude, he still says that it's his greatest work yet, and everyone agrees. What was I about to say? If I could find for the 50-year anniversary, dude, if I could find a way to somehow encapsulate the whole Wall album with the exclusion of that fucking offensive ass song and have like all the bands and musicians who we play on my radio station to make the whole Wall album and just play it on my show, that probably would solidify my legacy as one of the greatest DJs ever.
Anything else to say about The Wall before we go on?
No, I very much got all of it, dude. What do you think, dude? In your opinion, dude?
I think it's Pink Floyd's best album. There is that one offensive ass song that I don't really agree with, but
Yeah,
I do believe it is better than The Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, I like the music on that fucking song, but the lyrics does not age well, dude. I do not condone that, but the music is so
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Heck, there was a YouTube poop that they did of SpongeBob where they actually used that song. It's the Band Geeks part, and where they're doing the fucking Bubble Bowl, dude. They put that fucking song on there. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I might have to show you that later, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So, but all right,
I want to talk about The Hazards of Love by the Decemberists.
Oh,
All right.
yeah?
I'm just gonna read through the entire story. It's pretty fucking cool. All right, so
Go
when
ahead,
riding
man.
through the taiga, huh?
Oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry about that.
All right. While riding through the taiga, Margaret finds an injured fawn. When she stops to help it, the fawn changes into a young man named William, and the two make love. Margaret soon learns she's pregnant and flees to the forest to find William.
She fucked a
William,
deer. She got raped by a deer, and she gave birth to a fawn.
no, like she discovered this fawn in the forest, and it transformed into a human man named William.
Maybe it's maybe she is seeing like a fucking what are those things you see when you're out in the desert walking for how many hours and you see like a mirage or whatever.
A mirage, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, William comes to Margaret and proclaims his love for her.
Dude,
But a
it
short,
doesn't just.
mysterious inst huh?
Oh, God.
But a short, mysterious instrumental announces the threat of William's mother, the Forest Queen. William and Margaret reminisce about their first meeting and anticipate the birth of their child. When they are discovered by the Forest Queen, William begs the Queen to allow him to be with Margaret, but the Queen accuses him of being ungrateful, pointing out that she rescued him from the human world when he was a
Or
baby
accusing him
and
of rape.
bestowed him with immortality. Their exchange continues until the Queen resolves to allow William one night as a mortal man with Margaret, but afterwards reclaim him forever.
More like a one night stand.
Yeah. Ending the first act, another short instrumental represents the intermission between the two acts.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, we meet the Rake, a widower and philanderer who feels no remorse for having murdered his three children in order to be rid of the responsibility of raising them.
Damn,
He
son.
kidnaps Margaret, and then the Forest Queen ruthlessly breaks her promise by inviting the Rake to violate Margaret and assists his escape from William by parting a raging river. William arrives at the river but is unable to cross until he offers his own life in exchange for safe passage. The Rake gloats over Margaret and while she calls for William to rescue her, but before the Rake can strike, the ghosts of his three murdered children appear and thwart him.
Yeah.
William arrives and escapes with Margaret. But as they approach the river, the lovers vow to marry each other by drowning themselves in the river, while William is still a mortal man.
Oh,
As they
so it's
sink
pretty
into the
much like one
water,
of the murder suicide things. Okay.
yep. As they sink into the water, William and Margaret proclaim their love for a final time, reflecting that in death, the hazards of love can no longer trouble them.
Dude, that. Dude, I'm sorry, dude. Like, okay, so let me get this straight for the story. She gets fucked by a deer, gives birth to a fawn, has to go get approval from a fucking tree to fuck him again, and then they have to commit murder suicide to get married.
Not really, but kind of, sort of.
What the fuck is going, were they on fucking acid when they made the shit?
Nope. Colin Malloy, the leader of the Decemberists, he never did any drugs.
What the fuck is going on in his head, dude? Is he schizophrenic or something?
Nope. Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't know about you, dude, but I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck is going on right now, dude. Dude, it would be like if I just went into the woods and be like, where's Bambi at? Oh, yeah, I turn into a deer and all that, and all of a sudden Bambi has to come and get approval from my mother. I have to shoot her, and then boom.
You think that's a fucking weird rock opera? Listen to fucking Not Available by The Residents.
Oh, is that who it is?
You,
Hang on a sec. I just found that on here. Give me a moment. Oh, yeah, let me look.
no one knows what the fuck that album is about. No one knows what the fuck it's about.
Oh yeah, by the Residents. Can you is there any oh, they don't have a synopsis on here. God damn it, dude. I'm
Because no
looking
one
at it
knows what
literally
the
right now.
fuck it's about.
Dude, I'm looking at it right now, dude, and yeah, I'm not seeing any synopsis here. Usually these Wikipedias always do it, but probably whoever made this probably couldn't even fucking figure out
That's the thing.
is.
They wrote the lyrics for the album and then they let it sit and they forgot about them. They don't even remember what the fuck it's about. So no one alive knows what the fuck this album is about.
Oh, I'm looking at the track listing. Okay, so the only thing there's like 5 fucking songs only. Part 1, Edwina. Part 2, The Making of a Soul. Part 3, Ships Are Going Down. Part 4, Never Known Questions, and Epilogue.
Yeah, and the music itself is very weird too. It's just a very weird album.
Huh. So from what I'm seeing right now, dude. Okay, so do you know the song "Paradise by the Dashboard Light" by Meatloaf?
No.
It's it's like it's like the Who song "A Quick One While He's Away." This is a mini rock opera in different suites. Let me explain it to you. It's probably considered one of Meatloaf's all-time greatest songs, and we know Meatloaf played as Jack Black's father on Tenacious D when he was beating his ass with this belt right here. Wait, where the fuck's my
He has the
wallet?
exact belt from the movie.
Yeah, right. But
He
anyways,
uses that to beat his cats.
no. But yeah, it pretty much is it's considered his greatest work. It is made up of 4 different parts. Paradise. The song opens with a male and female character reminiscing about days as a young high school couple on a date. They are parking by a lake and having fun, experiencing paradise by the dashboard light, which is in the terms of a teenage couple fucking in Lover's Lane during the 40s. Until the young male character insists they're gonna go all the way tonight. Now, um, I'm just waiting for you to say something right now about
I'm hitting my vape.
that.
So they were making love on Lover's Lane in the 40s.
And then all of a sudden, the fucking I can't remember what was that. Then all of a
Roger,
sudden, the fucking Phantom Killer comes out of nowhere. Hey,
Roger just appears out of nowhere.
yeah, it turns out I'm the Phantom
Hey,
Killer.
how come I'm not getting any?
Damn it! I never score. We never score here.
We never score.
And all of a sudden, I just give a very impassioned speech like my main guy Beavis, but that'll be for a different day. But yeah. So part 2 is the baseball broadcast. And obviously, dude, you know I'm a huge baseball guy. There's no
Yep.
denying that. So the male characters' advances are kind of mirrored by the then New York Yankees announcer Phil Rizzuto, considered one of the greatest broadcasters in baseball history. He's broadcasted a portion of the baseball game that serves as a metaphor for the male character's attempts to achieve his goal, accompanied by funk instrumentation and back and forth dialogue between the male and female characters. Part 3. Let me sleep on it. Just as the couple is about to consummate, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Consummate, if a couple consummates, it means they make love or they fuck each other, whatever you kids call it these days.
Dude, I am so glad this is all fucking age restricted.
We can say whatever the fuck we want.
Dude, I even keep telling, dude, I even have to keep warning everyone, even all my listeners and fans. Dude, this is the unrated side of me.
Mhm.
You know, it is what it is, you know. Okay, so as they are
Keep
about,
talking. I got to use the bathroom again. I'm listening though.
oh, you know what? Why don't we take a quick break? I'll read this part 3 when you get back.
Okay,
Ladies
sounds
and
good.
gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna take a quick short break. What the fuck, dude? It looks like I'm on Mars, dude. Did you see that coloring?
I did.
Dude, that looks fucking creepy. I think my camera's haunted. I don't know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. Welcome back to the show that's dedicated to reminding you that no matter how it feels in the dark, it all feels the same. Anyways, how's your beer holding up?
It's about halfway gone.
You okay, dude? Ladies and
I'm
gentlemen,
dying.
Aegis Don Levity is about to die from asphyxiation right now. He choked himself too hard in the bathroom during his erotic thing.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. I was like, are you sure you didn't try and asphyxiate yourself during some hot shit in the bathroom?
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what's gonna happen is I just covered the first two parts of Paradise by a Dashboard Light, and I'm gonna cover the last two parts. And then Aegis has three more things he wants to talk about, and I have three more things that I do want to talk about. And then I'm gonna end up looking at like some of the other links that I have because I do want to go through some of these other links right here as well. There'll probably be a lot of them. This might be an overtime kind of thing. Aegis, are you down for it?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, man. So, part three is called Let Me Sleep on It. Just as the couple is about to consummate, the female character suddenly sings, Stop right there. She refuses to go any further unless the male character first promises to love her forever and marry her. You know what? It's almost relatable for my grandparents and my parents. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, dude. Do you think that would be the same for me if I ever find my soulmate? Maybe I probably might not because I'm too busy like with all my shit
Mhm.
here with this
You too
podcast.
busy with your hose?
Dude, I can't help it, dude. I mean, dude, like I said earlier, dude, just look at me, dude. This is a sexy face right here. Imagine being famous and fucking ugly, man. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be me.
Well, the difference is you ain't no Charles Manson. You're more like Slash. The reason why I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because he showed me his picture on his ID. Did you ever get that ID?
I did.
Yeah, he almost fucking looks like Charles Manson, dude, and it's the creepiest
So,
shit.
so let me tell the story. All right.
Yeah,
So,
please do,
uh, I
quick.
went, I went and got my ID picture taken to get my new ID. All right. And I didn't hear it. Eventually, I got a letter in the mail, and it said that something was wrong with my ID picture. And I had to go get another picture taken for it.
Yeah.
So I get in. Want to know why the fuck they had to retake my license driver's license picture?
Why?
There were two hairs on my face. Two fucking hairs were on my face. So
Dude,
I had to drive all the way back to the DMV and get my photo retaken just because two fucking hairs were on my face.
were
I
they
mean,
like
like
were they like in little groups or just like singular hairs?
two single hairs.
Dude, that's not a big deal. You could have just like I'll tell you this, if you had a mirror to take a look at, you could have just trimmed them off. But dude, that is no big fucking deal.
Yeah, like the last time before that when I got my driver's license picture taken, they let me wear my hat, they let me wear my glasses. But this
Yeah.
time they're like, nope, you can't wear your glasses, can't wear your hat. And also there are two hairs in your face. Yeah, so you got to come back in again, get your picture retaken. Like, what the fuck is that?
Dude, I know, right? Oh, I still got a little bit left. There we go. Hey, you guys want to see me chuck a can for no reason? Yeehaw!
Hmm,
Ugh. Yeah, like I said, dude, that is so fucking stupid.
it
But,
is.
alright, so, to continue on, reluctant to make such a long term commitment, the male character repeatedly asks her to consent and promises to give his answer in the morning. Yeah, I probably would promise right then and there so I could get laid still. As far as I know, dude, even the gals that I brought home with me, we don't even remember much because we were all drunk. Hell, I'm even drunk. I don't
Hmm,
remember shit. The only thing is that I keep waking up with fucking bras or whatever in my place, and I'm like, where the fuck did these come from? Because I know that by the time I wake up, they're fucking gone, dude. Like, what's the matter? You don't want to cuddle with me? I'm a nice guy to
hmm.
cuddle with. I'm like a teddy bear, dude, technically. Anyways, the female character remains steadfast, and the male character finally offers his promise. I started swearing to my God and on my mother's grave that I would love you to the end of time. That's the end of part 3. Part 4, praying for the end of time. Back in the present, both characters express how each can no longer stand the other, which is kind of like Richard Byrne and Elizabeth Taylor, you know? Oh. And I'm sure a lot of you old timers, if you watch this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Remaining true to the vow he made on that night in the past, he is now praying for the end of time to arrive and relieve him from his obligation. The song gradually fades out, juxtaposing his gloomy, it was long ago, it was far away, it was so much better than it is today, with her nostalgic, it never felt so good, it never felt so right. We were glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife. In early live performances of the song, this part was followed by a spoken word epilogue in which the two characters, presumably having been married for a number of years, argued about what to keep after the couple's divorce. The argument was cut short by the female shouting, "And I'll keep the baby," which left Meatloaf's character, previously unaware of the pregnancy, speechless. Immediately after, he ended the argument by screaming incoherently at her. The exchange was repeated with different female vocalists in different versions and with different endings in most of Meatloaf's subsequent live tours, and remained in the set until his death, when it was still occasionally performed by Meatloaf and his featured vocalist, Patty Russo. Let me tell you a story, dude, about this song, Paradise by a Dashboard Light. So, back in 2013 or 2014, I had like a radio where I would play like classic rock radio. I would have a tendency to play the radio at nighttime to a volume so that my family could sleep. I heard Paradise by a Dashboard Light come on while I was sleeping, and I probably had the most psychedelic, fucked up dream ever, dude, and I wasn't doing THC at the time. My brain was trying to process everything that was going on. Some reason I felt like I was in some fucking fucked up musical or whatever, dude. I can't explain it.
You all right?
I was waiting for you, bro. I think I might need another sip. I don't know about you, man.
Here, cheers.
Cheers.
To the Interrobang group, to our future, to all that is to come.
Yep, and to
Bernie.
rock and roll, to fucking women everywhere. By the way, ladies, call me. No appointment necessary. And I'll hook you up with Jack the Ripper right here, along with his child molester of an uncle as well.
No, I'm not one for hookups. I'm more of a romantic type. It's the difference between you all. You're more of a Don Juan. I'm more of a Don Quixote.
Oh, fuck. Dude, don't even start with that. When it comes... But if it came like in Beavis and Butthead terms, who would you think you would be?
I'd probably be the teacher.
You would have to buzz your hair, dude. I have buzzed hair right now, dude. Or at least
No, I mean like the hippie teacher that they have. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, because you keep singing and I just keep praying to God that some accident will happen to you. You know what I'm talking about? Because every time Van Driesen kept singing, dude, something kept fucking happening to interrupt his singing, dude. Like, a bus driver would hit his brakes and he would get launched off and go into a cliff. Or in Beavis and Butthead Do America, the FBI fucking raids him, and even Robert Stack tells him do a fucking cavity search on him. I'll be right back.
He does a cavity search on everyone in that fucking movie, though, to be fair.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Anyway, cheers.
Yep, cheers. Right after this sip, I'm going to quickly throw my beer cans away. I got garbage all over. I'll be right back. Just go ahead and say anything about the rock opera thing of what it means to you, and I'll be right back. All right? Did you hear me, dude?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back in a sec.
So anyway, yeah, as well, we'll probably make another video talking about concept albums that aren't rock operas. Got a few I want to talk about. We'll get to that another day.
I was trying to pick up my black and white cat so that I could show her, but she's kind of being a bitch right now.
Hmm.
She knows I've already had a couple drinks, dude, and my cats get very hostile every time I drink because they somehow know it. Okay,
Hmm.
so you go ahead and start off with your stuff here, dude.
All right, so one of my favorite metal bands, Haken, uh, they have four concept albums, but only two of them are rock operas. Their albums, The Mountain and Fauna, are both concept albums, but aren't rock operas. Their two rock operas, though, are Vector and Virus.
Yeah, it's so.
Vector,
Oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
man. No, you go ahead, man. It's okay.
Okay. Right. Vector is basically about a doctor who develops a very unhealthy obsession with one of his patients. And then Virus is expanding upon a song from their album The Mountain called The Cockroach King. And it's basically about this character, the Cockroach King, which is just a political figure
Yeah,
who slowly becomes like a political virus to the system. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean.
Excuse me.
Beautiful,
All
beautiful, just fucking beautiful, man.
right. I don't really have much to say about those albums because
What about
the
virus?
plot is
You didn't cover virus. Go ahead and talk about virus.
no virus is. I just said it's an expansion upon the Cockroach King from their album The Mountain.
Like I said, dude, like when I was looking at virus and we talked about this in our favorite album covers, dude, like it came out in 2020. Isn't it just a fucking coincidence that it came out during the COVID pandemic?
Yes, it is.
Like,
Except I don't really believe in coincidences.
huh? Oh, I'm just looking at the background. I know that when they worked on, when they were touring for Vector or something, they toured with Mike Portnoy.
Yes.
Well, that's actually kind of cool, man. They got to meet fucking Mike Portnoy, who made his first appearance with Dream Theater and Parasomnia since before leaving to be part of that the supergroup Flying Colors.
Hmm.
You know, so there is this um okay, so one rock opera that really is so relatable, or especially was relatable in 2004 in particular, dude, is none other than what I think is Green Day's greatest album, American Idiot. It is considered like a punk rock opera. It is basically surrounding the character named Jesus of Suburbia. It is a concept album that describes the story of a central character named Jesus of Suburbia, an anti hero created by Billy Joe Armstrong, the frontman. It is written from the perspective of a lower middle class suburban American teen raised on the diet of soda pop and Ritalin. Yeah, Ritalin.
Ritalin.
Oh, thank you for that. I was like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah, it's
I
an
did not.
ADHD medication. It's called Ritalin.
Fuck, I might need some of that because I do have ADHD,
Mhm.
so fuck. But anyway, he comes to hate his hometown and those close to him, so he leaves for the city. The second character introduced in the story is Saint Jimmy, a swaggering punk rock freedom fighter par excellence. What's her name? A mother revolution figure is introduced as a nemesis of Saint Jimmy in the song She's a Rebel. The album's story is largely indeterminate because the group was unsure of where to lead the plot's third quarter in this sense. Armstrong decided to leave the ending up to the listener's imagination. Now, let me tell you something, dude. American Idiot, if you were as old as I was in 2004, I would have been 10 years old. American Idiot came out at the exact right time because this was an album that was considered a protest album for both the George W. Bush, the then president of the US, and the Iraq War. And you can tell for the song Wake Me Up When September Ends, which is a beautiful song. It is a protest song towards the Iraq War. While the title name and the title track in question, like the album name and title track I meant, sorry, they describe whoever's in the White House as a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And George Bush, dude, don't get me wrong. His leadership when we had 9/11, this was only his seventh month in the White House, or ninth month in the White House at the time, dude. His leadership was, I don't even know how to describe it, dude. Like, he really did a good job leading us. But then the Iraq War came, and we all know what happened as a result. A lot of people say that, oh, Green Day, they fucking sold out or whatever, but I don't think they ever did, dude. I believe in my heart they never did. But yeah, the fucking album is amazing, dude. Like, this was probably the soundtrack of 2004 for me, dude. Even now, dude, it's been nearly fucking 21 years later, dude, and holy fucking shit do I feel old right now. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this album, we needed it at that time. Go right ahead. I need a drink.
All right, next, I got two more things I want to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about Devin Townsend's album, Ziltoid the Omniscient. All right, it is about an extraterrestrial being named Ziltoid from the planet Ziltodia 9. Ziltoid travels to Earth in search of, as he puts it, your universe's ultimate cup of coffee. When a cup of coffee is delivered to him, he is appalled by its taste, declaring it fetid, and summons the Ziltoidian warlords to attack Earth, facing the full might of Earth's army. Townsend describes the album as a mix between Strapping Young Lad and the Devin Townsend Band, with a storyline like that of Punky Brewster's Cooked on Phonics. So literally, it's basically about this alien who like travels to Earth is like, give me your ultimate cup of coffee. They give him a cup of coffee. He's like, this is shit. So he declares war on Earth with his fucking army, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was just quickly looking him up to see if he was related to Pete Townsend in any sense, but no, he's not. No, he's not. Oh, dude, he is compared to the styles of Frank Zappa, though. Your favorite guy.
Not my favorite. My favorite is probably these days. My favorite is probably the Deer Hunter.
Oh, okay, I got you. Which we will get into soon.
But he is one of my favorites. Zappa is one of my favorites. So
yeah. And now that I just thought about it, off topic, dude. Okay, so when Frank Zappa released Joe's Garage, did he do that with the intention of trying to make an album that would get banned in a lot of places?
I don't think so. I mean, like, he probably did it to be edgy, you know, because that's just how he is. He tries to offend people with his fucking humor and shit.
Dude, fucking look at Airplane, dude. They really pushed the envelope with that. So you're going to tell me that Frank Zappa wasn't trying to do the same thing like what Airplane did a year later?
I mean, he was definitely trying to be edgy, but that's the most I can say. He wasn't. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. But yeah, I know that Frank Zappa, he did host that one episode of Saturday Night Live, but I don't know what it was, dude. I know that he wasn't at rehearsals a whole lot because he was out sightseeing in New York City, but I don't know if he was doing it with the intention of being like, I don't want to be here. Just fucking kick me out or whatever.
What really did it with him was one of the big reasons why it didn't work out with him. Back when he was on Saturday Night Live, everyone on Saturday Night Live, all the actors and shit, they were doing fucking cocaine and all of that. And he was very anti-drug. He believed
Yeah.
in legalizing like most drugs, but he didn't do drugs himself and he kind of frowned upon it.
Yeah.
So they're all like, "Oh yeah, this is party." And then he was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Stop it."
He didn't drink at all, did he?
Oh, he drank a lot. He did drink his beer.
Oh, dude. They could have gone he could have gone along with John Belushi, dude, because John Belushi, dude, you there was a clip of him in Animal House, and that was an actual bottle of Jack Daniels he slammed
Yeah,
down
yeah,
literally.
yeah, I know that.
So
I
he
know
could have
that.
gone along with John Belushi just fine. Maybe they had a good time, who knows? But you know what the funny thing is, dude? Now that I look back on it with all of them, dude, I could certainly see that. I don't expect guys like Bill Murray or Chevy Chase doing that. They don't look like the type of guys that would do drugs or whatever, honestly. Like, don't. This is how I clean my nose. I don't blow my nose. This is how I do it. It's more easier. It's more convenient, people. Don't judge me.
I mean, I just flat out pick my nose. I don't lie about it. I pick my nose. So what?
Yeah. so, so this next album here that I want to talk about for a rock opera. This is considered a rock opera, but it is considered the so-called unofficial project album by the Alan Parsons Project. And I am, of course, talking about what I believe is kind of like a lost album because it ain't anywhere on like online or whatever. You would have to find it through re-uploads. It's their 1990 album, Freudiana.
You've talked to me about this.
Yes, it basically it is a rock opera that, well, I don't know what their intention was because the Alan Parsons Project has been known to make concept albums, but Eric Wolfson wanted to make a rock opera, and that's what happened. But due to extreme creative differences between him and Alan Parsons, one of the greatest engineers and producers of all time, they like it's so complicated to explain, dude. It is they call it as this. It is released by under Eric Wolfson's name, while it is released under both Eric Wolfson and Alan Parsons. So I really don't know how to explain it, kind of thing. I was lucky to find this album when I did, but it is not like on YouTube Music. It would have to be like re-uploaded shit that you would have to listen to. But this is a rock opera that basically talks about some of the very famous works that Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, worked on. And I haven't looked much into Sigmund Freud stuff because I don't even fucking know psychology. What the hell would I
I'm
know
not.
about it?
I know. I just don't really care to read into psychology. It's not my thing. If I'm gonna read, I'm gonna read a nice fiction novel. Like I'm reading fucking Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky right now, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if I'm not really into psychology and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not either. Like I said, dude, like no, they did all work on it together, but it's listed under like whoever's name, not the Alan Parsons Project name, dude, but the project worked on the album. But because of all the creative differences and everything else in between, dude, it didn't get released as the project name. So, and I don't know, dude. Like, it's a nice album cover, dude. It looks like Sigmund Freud's face, but like in a not a surrealist look, but it kind of looks like a nice art piece kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yep, it is the idea of researching the life and works of Sigmund Freud with a view to their musical potential. Eric Wolfson, he said that it was because of this album Freudiana was why he started getting into doing musical theaters. You know, or musical operas, you know, in theater per se.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He still made music, but he was more focused on doing musical theaters at that time. But that's all I could really say, ladies and gentlemen. I can't find much more information. This is why even though the album you can find it on YouTube, I still consider it like a lost album because they don't have an official release on either the Alan Parsons Project's official YouTube account or Eric Wolfson's YouTube account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I understand that you wanted to get to this band who you got me into, who made or
The
who's gonna make 6 different acts.
the deer fucking hunter, dude. So
For those of you wondering, it's not spelt like you go out and shoot a buck.
yeah, it's
It's kind of saying
DAR
like Dear
hunter.
John, Dear Jane, Dear John, Dear Roger, Dear Aegis, whatever.
Yeah, because like the main character in the acts, as they're called, is called Hunter. So basically, like, so far they have 5 albums that are names like Act One, Act Two, Act Three, Act Four, Act Five.
What the
Eventually,
fuck?
they are
I try.
going.
Oh, you go ahead, dude.
Eventually, they are going to release an Act Six, and that will conclude the acts. But in addition to that, they're currently working on a project called The Indigo Child, which so far they have the EP, The Indigo Child, and they also have an album called Antimai. This summer, they will be releasing an album called fuck, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, they'll be expanding upon that this summer with a new album, hopefully. But the Deer Hunter, their original like acts, it started with Act One, Act Two, Act Three, Act Four, Act Five. Basically, it's about this character named Hunter, who is the son of a prostitute, and when he is born, he's like slowly like uncovering the mysteries of like his mother's life and shit, and he stumbles upon the antagonist. His name is the Pimp and the Priest. By day, he is the priest. By night, he is the pimp. And we'll do a whole video on this once they finally fucking release Act 6 someday.
Yeah, and we are
But that's
gonna
all you
do
got
it.
to know for now.
We are going to do it in its entirety. The whole act will be in its entirety. We are not going to do separate
Yes.
parts. We are going to do the whole fucking thing.
It's going to be one long ass video, but we'll do it.
Yeah. Dude, I was looking up the Deer Hunter and some reason it brought me up to the fucking 1978
Movie?
movie.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, Act 1 was in 2006, Act 2 07, Act 3 09, Act 4 2015,
2020.
Act 5 was 2016. Dude, when do you think they're going to even fucking make Act 6 so we can get it done and over with?
It's going to be a few years, dude. Because right now they're primarily working on their Indigo Child series.
You know what that reminds me of for some reason?
Because when they release Act 6, they want to make it like a movie. They want to make an actual movie of this shit, which I'm really looking forward to.
Hey, I wouldn't mind it too, honestly, man. You know what the what it reminds me of? So there's this YouTube poop channel that I watch called the Steam Lord, and they've been doing like an 8-part series about their Treehouse of Horror YouTube poop collabs, and they're still working on the final episode. They've been working on the final episode for like about over a year now at this point. They still do not know when it's going to be done. So maybe this final part for the Deer Hunter could be like maybe their most ambitious stuff they did, maybe. Because from what this YouTube channel has been saying for the updates, from what I've been seeing, this is probably the most ambitious shit we're doing because we are not going to do like a normal YouTube poop based on like whatever segment on Treehouse of Horror by The Simpsons per se, but it'll be like one of them ambitious story-driven episodes. If you know what I mean. Like what we're talking about in rock operas.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. The title of the new album they're going to hopefully be releasing this year in the summer is called Sunya. 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 I think that's how it's pronounced. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that you've introduced them to me a while back. I've never even heard of them, man, but they sound really good, you know.
Yeah. One of my college professors actually got me into the deer hunter.
Oh, okay. Oh, dude, and the current dude, two of the guys are brothers, right? Casey and Nick Crescenzo is what how they're pronounced.
I think it's pronounced something like crescenzo.
Oh, okay. No, it's nice to have like siblings involved, you know.
Yeah.
It's the same with the my favorite folk duo, First Aid Kit. Both the members in First Aid Kit are sisters from Sweden, dude. And like I introduced you to them a while back, some of the most beautiful female voices. If my radio station ever got them to headline Grand Rapids Riverfest, I would die a happy man. And I keep telling them all the fucking time. Okay, so for the last thing that I want to cover for the rock operas before we get into everything else or take a next break because I might have to pee soon. So I've been talking to you about this a lot, but Blue Oyster Cult's 1988 album, Imaginos.
Yes, you've talked to me about that several times. You really like Imaginos.
Dude, like I said, dude, I want to do an album review. Probably for the next album, dude, we are going to fucking review this. But ladies and gentlemen, this album, a really great album, and I think it's their most underappreciated album,
Want to
without
know
a
what
doubt.
else we got to do an album review on?
What's that?
Uh, Spock's Beard's rock opera Snow. I know you
Yeah,
haven't listened to it yet, but it's really good.
yeah, I don't think I have. If you could send the link to that for to me, dude, that would be awesome. That way I
Yeah.
can look it up at a later time when I listen. So basically, this is an album that was intended to be a rock opera in three different LPs, according to Albert Bouchard, who was the main force behind it. But there were some personal issues that happened where he got booted from the band in 1981, and they ended up releasing like a small version of it or just part one. But the tracks on the final vinyl or CD that they sent is not in correct order. God damn it, get the fuck back here. But yeah, I'll try and tell the whole story as much as I can. Oh Jesus, dude, there's so much here that I have to read, dude. Do you mind if we take a quick break? Because I really need to pee bad.
Go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta take a quick piss, and then we will cover this shit right here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, bitches.
Bruh.
Welcome back to the show that's dedicated to reminding you that Kanye is a fucking Nazi. What the fuck are you doing?
It's magic.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think Aegis Don Levity has lost his mind. You
Oh,
know, I
they're
think
not
I'm
gonna
losing
mix
my
anymore.
mind too, man. I think I'm kind of losing my mind too, so. Oh. Just gotta check my Tinder to make sure don't have any messages.
Joe Blow 49 has sent you a message.
You would know if it was me if I ever used the name Dick McFuckerton.
Dick McFuckerton. Yo, what's your name? My name is Michelle. My name is Dick McFuckerton.
Oh, fuck, bro. And I just use a pronoun in one of my fucking porn names, so. Okay, so right before I had to go tinkle, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about probably one of my favorite albums of all time, which we will cover in the future. Blue Oyster Cult's 1988 album, Imaginos. So, the concept and storyline goes as follows, because this is going to be a long paragraph. Imaginos was envisioned as a rock opera to be published as a trilogy of double albums, with a storyline encompassing about 200 years of history from the beginning of the 19th century to the end of the 20th century. This album represents an abbreviated version of the first volume of that planned trilogy, which would be the first part of said rock opera.
Mhm.
But the songs are arranged out of order, however, so that makes the story very impossible to comprehend. But I know how it goes. I know how it goes because I've looked it up. So I'm just going to quickly find where the beginning goes. But basically, it pretty much talks about like a alien conspiracy in humanity itself, if I remember correctly. I just need to find it quick. Um, You'll have to bear with me, folks. I am getting a little buzzed right now, but I honestly could fucking care less. So it's this whole storyline is supposed to involve like an alien conspiracy, so to speak. And for all of you tinfoil wearing pricks out there, like our fucking coworker who works on morning shift, dude, you would probably understand this. But I do believe there are aliens out there. Just saying.
I mean, like with how many planets in existence there are, it's kind of impossible for there not to be life on some other planet somewhere, you know. I
Yeah,
just don't believe that they've ever visited Earth.
that's the thing, man. It's very impossible to figure out. Okay, so central to this story are known as Les Invisibles, also known as the Invisible Ones, a group of 7 beings worshipped by the natives of Mexico and Haiti prior to the arrival of Spanish colonists in the 16th century, identified by some fans as the Loa of the voodoo religion. Ladies and gentlemen, this work here was based on some of the stories that a man named Sandy Pearlman wrote, and he is a contributing writer for Blue Oyster Cult, which is why you hear like some of the themes in Blue Oyster Cult's music. Oh. Okay, so the nature of Les Invisibles is left unclear, although it is hinted that they may be extraterrestrials, which I wouldn't be surprised at, obviously, you know, or beings akin to the grand old ones in the works of H.P. Lovecraft. And before you laugh, it is his real name.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with H.P. Lovecraft, actually. I know a lot of
Really?
his works. I have a book that contains all of his actual published works.
What are some of his most notable stuff?
Are you familiar with Cthulhu?
Yes, I know Cthulhu pretty well, man.
Yeah, that was his creation, Cthulhu.
Damn, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he created Zalgo, that one creepy pasta.
I don't believe he created Zalgo, but from the sound of the name, it might have been uh, inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's works.
Yeah, but you do know the reference that I'm talking about. Like, some reason I keep thinking Zalgo is almost relatable to Cthulhu, you know?
Yeah.
So, an interpretation of the lyrics of the song Astronomy by some fans suggests that the star Cyrus or Sirius, which is um I'm trying to figure out where the hell these stars are. They are way out there. That's all you need to know. But anyways, the fans suggest that the star Sirius is of peculiar astrological
Particular?
yes, thank you. astrological significance to lay invisibles. I just had a stroke, by the way. With clues identifying it as their place of origin. It is during the so-called dog days of August, when Sirius is in conjunction with the sun, that their influence over mankind is as its apex. By subtly influencing the minds of men, the beings are said to be playing with our history as if it's a game, affecting events in the world history over the course of centuries. I'm not going to get into that right now. For the 3 centuries after European discovery of the New World, this game plays out as the desire for gold is used to transform Spain into the dominant power of Europe, only to be usurped by England in the 17th century and later through technology by other nations. And that would be the song Les Invisibles. And you know what? I'm going to quickly just pull something up quick. Just give me a quick moment. I'm gonna quit. I just want to look up what the original title track is and then tell you where it should be, in my opinion. So just bear with me for a moment, folks. There we go. Now we're cooking. So on the album itself, Les Invisibles is track 2, but from what I've seen, it should be track number 1. Okay, so the principal story begins in August of 1804 with the birth of a modified child. You're blurry, dude.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just lost Aegis on Levity.
I am back.
Okay, so the principal story begins in August 1804 with the birth of a modified child named Imaginos in the American state of New Hampshire. Because of the astrological significance of the place and time of his birth, the hermaphroditic, the hermaphroditic Imaginos is of peculiar interest to Les Invisibles, who begin granting him with superhuman abilities while he is young. Unaware of his true destiny or nature, the young Imaginos finds out that he is apparently able to change his appearance at will and see the future, which would be the song Imaginos, which was labeled as the final track number 9, but it should be track number 2.
Okay.
All right, just give me a quick sec. Okay, so as the child becomes an adult, he develops a sense of wanderlust, billing himself as an adventurer. He sets out to explore Texas. Good old dumb Texas. As my main friend SpongeBob said so.
Texas.
Yes. So, and the Western frontier, arriving in New Orleans in 1829. Oh, dude, it's nothing but a good time in New Orleans. I think it's the Montreal of the U.S. Mainly because of Mardi Gras, so that's all I'm just saying. Okay. It is there that he has a vision imploring him to travel to Mexico, in search of an artifact lost, last, and luminous? Thank you. Scored to sky yet never found. Imaginos joins the crew of a ship traveling to the Yucatan Peninsula, but while passing through the Gulf of Mexico, the ship encounters a freak storm of which his visions fail to warn him, which would be Del Rio's song, which is track number 4, but it should be track number 3 now. The ship sinks with most of its crew, and Imaginos, half dead, washes ashore and is left for dead by the other survivors. As he lays dying on a shore where oyster beds seem plushes down, Imaginos is addressed by addressed by a symphony of voices who identify themselves as Les Invisibles, which is, we go back to the origin thing.
Yes.
The invisible ones. Imaginos' true nature is revealed to him, and he is informed that the circumstances of his entire life have been manipulated to bring him to that specific moment in time. Having explained themselves to him, they offer him a choice: die as a human or live as their servant, which would be the song Blue Oyster Cult, which should be track number 4, but it is track number 8. But dude, isn't it a coincidence that that's the name of the band?
I doubt that's a coincidence.
Or do you think they already had planned that name to begin with?
They probably did.
But yeah. Yeah. So far, what do you think of the story, dude? I'm really getting into this right now.
I think it's pretty good.
So, Imaginos decides to accept their offer and is resurrected from the dead by the Blue Oyster Cult, the servants of Les Invisibles. Not the actual band, but they are like certain beings that were created by
Yeah.
Les Invisibles. He is inducted into the cult and given a new name, Destinova, also known as Eternal Light in the term. He realizes that his descent and the origin of his powers comes from the stars where his masters live, and becomes aware of his role in the making of history, which would be the song Astronomy, which is my most favorite song from that album. Now, this is the one. Okay, so this is track number 5? Or, hang on. Shit. It's either number 4 or 5, but they have it listed as track number 6 on the official album listing, but it should be right after Blue Oyster Cult. If you guys don't understand, I will probably put that in the description below so that you can understand it. So, but yeah, the song Astronomy, they had like 1 or 2 different versions of it that came out way before this version. They had a version of it on their 1974 album Secret Treaties. Let me see if I can find that quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a second. Yeah, it was first released in their 1974 album Secret Treaties, and then they had an extended version of it on their live album Some Enchanted Evening. So this is like their 3rd version here. But this version I really like more. I've listened to that Secret Treaties version, and this one's way more better.
Okay.
So, from this point on, Imaginos becomes a tool in Les Invisibles' manipulation of human history for the next 63 years. He insinuates himself into the world of European politics. He uses his ability to change identities to take the place of high-ranking officials whose offices he uses to bring about Les Invisibles' will, which is the song I Am the One You Warned Me Of, which is track number 1 on the album itself, but it should be, just give me a moment. Track number 6. Astronomy was track 5. Alrighty. Okay. He introduces new knowledge and technology to the unsuspecting world, which is probably one of the longest fucking title tracks that I've seen that we are going to get into. Do you want to know what the name of it is?
What?
The Siege and Investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's Castle at Weissera, or Weisseria.
That's a long title.
And we are going to do a podcast in the future about this, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, this is
a short one, but we'll do it.
Yeah, this is track number 7, and it is track number 5 on the album. Okay, Through shape-shifting, Imaginos lives as both a man and a woman, or a hermaphrodite, as they call it, using the name Destinova for his female persona, who at some point takes the office of a foreign minister. By 1892, Imaginos is living in a mansion in Cornwall and has a 9-year-old granddaughter. Having by this time spent several decades studying mysticism and astrology, Imaginos discovers that Elizabeth England's rise as a superpower coincided with John Dee's acquisition of a magic obsidian mirror from Mexico, which serves as a bridge between Ley Invisible's alien world and ours, and the means to spread their influence on Earth. Some fans see Ley Invisible's actions in favor of England against Spain as a sort of vengeance for the extermination of the conquistadors of their worshippers in Central America, while others view their inventions as the only part of the mysterious scheme carried on by the alien entities through the centuries, which would be the song In the Presence of Another World, which would be track number 8, and it is track number 3 on the official album. Fuck, my throat hurts. Give me a moment. I think I might need another beer after this. Do you think?
Probably, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to get one right now. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell us what you think about this show or the story so far.
I think it's pretty cool. While Roger's away, I want to talk to you about how Roger eats his own cat's poop. He's never going to watch this back again, so he won't know that I told you that he eats his cat's poop. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yupper. I'm having a good time so far, aren't you, man?
Yeah, me too.
All right, I'm going to let that settle down for a little bit. So, this revelation in mind, Imaginos decides that the time has come to reattempt his aborted mission to Mexico. On August 1st, 1892, he set sail aboard a charmed ship, which, despite storms on land and storms at sea, delivers him faithfully to Mexico. After several months exploring the jungles of Yucatan, he finds an undiscovered Mayan pyramid. Following a long passage into the interior of the pyramid, he discovers a chamber carved from solid jade, in which he finds the Magna of Illusion, a twin of Dee's magic mirror, stealing away with the artifact. He returns to Cornwall a year to the day of his departure, which coincides with the 10th birthday of his granddaughter. Imaginos gives the mirror to the young girl as a birthday present, and for the following 21 years it sits, collecting dust in her attic, silently poisoning the minds of European leaders. In 1914, World War I breaks out, a disease with a long incubation, which would be Magna of Illusion, which should be track number 9, but it's track 7 on the official album. Dude, they should have killed Albert Bouchard in the band, dude. Do you have any idea how great the whole trilogy would be?
That'd be fucking awesome. It'd be one of the best rock up has ever made if that would have happened, you know?
Dude, that would Blue Oyster Cult had already been solidified because of Don't Fear the Reaper, dude. But if they would have released that album, dude, that would have made their legacy. That, in my retrospect, would have been Albert Bouchard's legacy right there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But Eternal Strife ended up happening, dude, and fucking A, dude, it blew up. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's like most of the rock operas that we talked about, but we are going to take a look at I'm gonna look at like we're gonna take a look at like some of the most important rock operas that we see according to some of these pages here, so you have to bear with me quick. Um Alrighty. And I will link most of these pages in the section below. I meant. God damn it, dude! I'm having too many strokes.
Oh,
And
you're
apparently,
lagging a bit there.
yeah, I see that. I don't even know how to turn off my video camera. Honestly, hang on. Hang on. Yep, I just froze. Give me a moment. Can you see me?
All right.
Shit.
No,
Hang
you
on.
gotta on the screen.
Yep.
There you go. You got it.
Yep.
Oh,
I see it.
all right. There you
Okay.
go.
There we go. That's more better, huh, fuckers? Ha, ha, ha.
Hmm.
Oh, hang on a minute. Just give me a quick moment. Holy shit, dude. We've been going at this for almost 2 hours, man. What are you thinking of the show so far, man?
This is a pretty fun one.
Yeah, I'm having fun, dude. Especially when you get to talk about fucking rock operas, dude. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to just take a quick review at like what the top 10 rock operas are, if I can even find like some of the right lists, or at least take a look at like what some of the main ones would be. Honestly, I'm just taking a look to make sure that the rock operas are exactly what I want them to be, or I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
Yeah, I was just like quick go through the list, not like going into detail on any of them, you know?
Yeah. All I know is that among some of the top rock operas that were ever made is there's one that's called Jesus Christ Superstar by Andrew Lloyd Webber
I'm
and Tim
familiar with that
Rice.
one actually. That was actually a
Really?
musical too.
Really?
Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar was a musical.
No shit, huh? Oh,
One
and
of
it
these days
came.
I gotta show you. Oh, sorry. One of these days I gotta show you my favorite musical. It's called Avenue Q. It's really fucking funny. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, I bet I would, man. Then there's another one that's called Operation Mind Crime by King Strike. I am familiar with King Strike, by the way. They are a pretty good band that you should listen to. Um, Another American Idiot by Green Day is among them. Um, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie is actually among them, believe it or not. But like I said, dude, if he would have expanded it to have at least 2 dozen songs, dude, he would have had a way better story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But no, he had to make it small as hell. Dude, I'm actually looking at a thumbnail of his 1972 performance, dude. Fuck, he looks like he's got the same makeup that Peter Gabriel did, you know, when he was the original lead singer for Genesis.
Yeah.
And then his hair is fucking dyed red, dude. And then, of course, from what I'm seeing, dude, the Who's Tommy and Pink Floyd's The Wall are the main number 1 and 2. Now let's see here. Arthur or the Decline of the Fall of the British Empire by the Kinks. Huh, I never heard that one.
Me neither.
Huh. Well, that's pretty interesting. I didn't even think that the Kinks ever would do something like this, honestly. The Lamb Dies Down on Broadway by Genesis, huh? I didn't. Let me see here. I just gotta go back on my pages quick. Pull up old Wikipedia again. Um, the Lamb dies on down Broadway, huh? Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of this one before. I didn't even think Genesis would be a rock opera kind of band, honestly. You know? Quadrophenia is also among those top bands. Um, God damn it, will you get out here? I'm talking about this fucking stupid ad on my shit right now.
You're lagging again.
Give me a second. Am I better now?
Yeah, you're better.
Fuck yeah. I think I was playing with the cord too much, dude. I was probably trying to choke my cock. Who knows? All right, so just taking a look quick. Yeah. Oh, Lou Reed made one that's called Berlin, dude. I've never heard of that one. Or actually,
I haven't either.
I know who Lou Reed is, and I know what Berlin is, but I didn't think it was actually a rock opera, in my honest opinion. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis. Like I said, I didn't know. What the fuck? Hang on a
What?
minute. Just give me a quick second. I gotta see if I gotta clarify this quick on here. The Kinks had a rock opera that was literally called soap opera. I'm not
That's
kidding,
fucking
dude.
stupid.
I'm not kidding, dude. You can look it up, man. Fucking crazy, dude. And then Better Hell by Meatloaf. I didn't think it would be a whole album, actually. I thought it was just Paradise in the Dashboard Light, honestly. And then The Wall, obviously. Joe's Garage. Oh, yep, and I forgot about this one right here, dude. Time by the Electric Light Orchestra. Give me a moment. God damn it. Dude, now I'm starting to have issues with my fucking camera. But yeah, I completely forgotten about the Electric Light Orchestra's album Time, dude. Yep, and then apparently from what I'm seeing, the pros and cons of Hitchhiking by Roger Waters was supposed to be a rock opera too.
Okay.
It turns out that Radio Chaos by Roger Waters, which is one of my all-time favorite albums, which we will do a podcast about in the future, is apparently a rock opera. But I don't see it. I just see it as a concept album, in my opinion, you know? Freudiana. Oh, it is the title as Eric Wolfson, but it doesn't fucking show up on his YouTube music channel, apparently, you know? Oh shit. You know what? You know the leads, you know the musician Prince, right?
Yeah, I know Prince.
Apparently his 1992 album Love Symbol is a rock opera too. A fantasy
Hmm.
rock soap
I didn't know
opera.
that.
Yeah. And then of course I'm finding some of Pete Townsend stuff on here, dude. I am not all surprised that he would end up doing like rock operas or a lot of rock operas because remember he's the one that fucking created it himself. So
Yeah.
can you see my duck?
Yep, I can.
There's a who do you think that would be? Daffy Duck or Donald Duck?
Donald Duck. Donald fuck the duck.
Yeah. Oh, you know who Judas Priest is, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Judas Priest.
I completely forgot about this. Their album Nostradamus is a rock opera. I
Okay.
completely forgot about that. It pretty much talks about the Nostradamus predictions, you know, because you know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't all too excited about that album. I thought that was kind of their weakest album. It's a nice concept, but I think it was their weakest work. Here is the Decemberist, The Hazards of Love, right here that you talked to us about. And then
Yep.
there's Green Day's 2009 album, 21st Century Breakdown, which is supposed to be, I think, a follow up to American Idiot. And then the Smashing Pumpkins, dude. Their album, Autumn, a rock opera in 3 acts. And it's like just three. Billy Corgan like has a unique way of how he releases his shit because he's like a really strange guy in my opinion, but he's a pretty cool songwriter. He will release like certain amounts like within months apart. He had like the first installment in November of 2022, and then a second part in January or whatever, and then a third part in April. And from what I heard, it was supposed to be the sequel to their album Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Uh. Oh shit! Give me a moment. Try and see if I can find more. Oh, apparently Yes did a rock opera too.
Which album was it?
Tales from the Topographic Oceans. I don't know, man. Yes does not strike me as the type of rock opera stuff. Maybe I could be wrong, but it's what I'm finding on this list. Maybe it's not based on the storyline, but it's probably based on the music.
Yeah, I'm looking it up and it does look like it is a rock opera.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I guess apparently Yes did decide to encapsulate on that.
Yeah.
And of course, oh my god, dude, I'm looking at all this. It's one fucking song per side, dude. Dude, even Emerson, Lake, and Palmer didn't go that fucking long like they did. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, side one was The Revealing Science of God, Dance of the Dawn. And then side two was The Remembering, Hide the Memory. Then there's also a fucking side three was The Ancients, Giants Under the Sun. And side four was Ritual, Nous sommes de Lucille, something like that.
Do you know Frank Zappa's album Thingfish?
I am familiar with that one. Is it actually on there?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's on there. Let me quickly
That's a
find.
very weird album too.
Yeah, they
Like if
said
you ever
like
say is
it says Frank Zappa was no stranger to satirical concept albums, but Thingfish was bizarre even by his standards. Is it
I
really that
agree with that.
fucking weird?
It is a very fucking weird album. If you're gonna
Maybe I
listen
might
to
have.
one of Frank Zappa's rock operas, listen to Joe's Garage.
Maybe we
Thing
might have to
Finish is
do an
really
album review of that
fucking
just for
weird.
the fun of it.
We could.
Maybe we might have to do something like that.
If we do a Frank Zappa album review, we should do Joe's Garage.
Right? I'll probably call it the more. I'll probably put it in parentheses the most offensive podcast you'll ever hear. um, I don't know, man. I don't know what else. I don't know what much more I could really say about these rock operas, man. Do you have anything else you want to add, quick?
No, I've already said everything I wanted to say, so I'm good.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I feel like I did do a whole lot per se, honestly, in my opinion. So I don't know what else to fucking go with, you know. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a huge rock opera person, and if you haven't heard any of the albums that we've talked about, go listen.
Go listen to him.
It is a very immersive experience. It is way more better to have to listen to the whole album when you're either drunk or fucking high on THC like I usually am. You know? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I did not expect us to really do as much as I think we would today, you know, in my opinion. Like, Aegis, did you think that we would go this long like we did?
I kind of expected it because that's how we've been usually running lately.
No shit, dude. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching today's podcast. Are there any rock operas that you know about that we don't know about? Or any rock operas that you like in particular? Let me know in the comment section below.
And if you have any ideas for any videos we can make in the future, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And also be sure to go check out our channel, the Interrobang Group. We upload a lot of really good sketches there. Really good time.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening to today's podcast. And any final words, bitch?
Down with Hitler.
No words true. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Here's to good prosperity ahead, to women, to old Bernie right there, and to our futures. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And as always, until next time, ta-ta for now.
For now.